Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Joshua Henson coming to you from Lee University's Division of Online Learning as we begin this great course, C Leader 303 Value-Based Leadership. This is a very content-focused course, and so there's a lot to go over, so we're going to hop right on into it. Again, I just want to welcome you. As you can tell, if you look around my background here, you will see that I am coming to you from a hotel room myself, and so I understand a busy life. I understand what it means to be bivocational. As a pastor and a professor, I stay very busy myself, and so I'm here to work with you if you're willing to work with me. And so we're going to take a few moments and just to go over the course with you. The first thing you need to know is you have three course texts. You have the Malforce text, the Nowin text, and also Larry Stockstill's text. And so you're going to be engaging a variety of these texts throughout the course. But if you look at your course syllabus and you'll also look at the way the assignments are outlined, you have a lot due every week. And so first we begin with discussion post. You'll notice that you have 2 discussion posts due each week with the exception of week 1 where there are also the course introductions where you introduce yourselves to your peers. But you'll notice that in each of the discussion posts there will be a topic assigned based on the reading. There's a few things I go over with it as it relates to discussion posts. Really, these are a conversation. This is the online virtual version of a classroom, and so my focus is content, making sure that you are adequately engaging the content. So I want to encourage you to make sure that you engage your text for the reading, whatever it may be for that week. Make sure you're engaging the textbook. Make sure you're really focusing on biblical integration as well. Write professionally, write academically, and write respectfully, and you'll get full credit. Just remember that it's due. Your initial post is due on Fridays, and then your 2 responses to students are due on Monday evening, so make sure you get that done. But I want to take some time and focus more on the papers that you have due. If you've not noticed this yet, you actually have what amounts to 8 different papers due in 8 weeks. And before you freak out, please know that that is because you have multiple drafts of the same plan that you'll be working on throughout the course. And so we're going to work through this together very quickly and take a few moments to kind of give you an idea of what you're working on. The first one is an integration paper, and this is really to help you better understand the Malforce text. And what you're going to be doing is writing 2 to 3 pages following the outline in your course instructions to better understand the role of biblical values in your leadership. It's a very straightforward paper. Just remember, follow the instructions, write in Turabian format, and it's 2 to 3 pages of content. Very straightforward. The second assignment due in week 2 as well is the draft for your course project, which is a value-based implementation plan. And in this, what you're going to do is you're first going to tell me about your ministry context. What organization will you be applying this to? Some will be churches, some may be parachurch or church organizations, but you are going to be applying your core values and your vision into some group of people. And so you're going to really lay out a strategic plan that develops, communicates, and implements these core values. And so what I'm going to be looking for is making sure that you do a few things. One, you are building it from a biblical foundation. What are your biblical core values based on Scripture and based on your readings? Secondly, I want to make sure that you identify your context and identify the obstacles that you're going to face within that context. If you're in a church of 25 people, your obstacles may be very different than a pastor in a church of 150, or a staff pastor in a church of 1,000, or someone who is working as a parachurch organization. And so just be very careful there, pay attention to that, and I think you'll be okay. So as we move forward, I want you also to remember that the idea is strategic. Make sure that you are strategically planning this out. What are your steps? What are you doing? How are you going to communicate it? How are you going to tell the people? What do you expect their reaction to be? Will it be from the pulpit? Will it be in the form of brochures? Will it be video series? Will it be sermon series? Whatever your implementation strategy is, that's what I expect to see in this paper. And in that draft, if you'll go ahead and lay that amount of information out in week 2, it makes the rest of the course a lot easier. Let's now look at week 4, and please forgive my phone. This is probably going to happen quite a bit. In week 4, you're looking at a critique, and you're going to be critiquing now in selfless way of Christ. It's a 2 to 3 page critique. You are going to engage that text heavily. Make sure that you focus on engaging it, reading through the text, and being able to critique that following the instructions in the course in Moodle. While you're doing this, please again remember stay in Turabian format, and also the goal would be biblical integration. All right, now we're moving on to the next aspect of this is a personal philosophy of core values. This is going to be taking place in week 4. As you look at this, you're going to see that your goal is to identify 2 major values, and it's character and integrity. And you are going to define and discuss those from a biblical perspective, but also from all of your course texts. Again, this is about 2 to 3 pages, written in Turabian, and the goal is for you to be able to really understand what does it mean to be a person of integrity and a person of character. All right, then we're going to move to week 5, and you're going to have what's called the contemporary assignment. You're going, what does that mean? That's a good question. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be watching a series of podcasts, a total of 4 podcasts, and your goal is in a 2 to 3 page paper, you are going to compare and contrast 2 of the 4. So out of 4 podcasts that you watch, choose 2 of them to write a 2 to 3 page reflection regarding their leadership practices. Again, this is to be reflective, but it should still be written in a scholarly format. 2 to 3 pages, Turabian. Just make sure you do that. Engage your text, engage Scripture as well while you're doing that. And then now, as we move forward, you're going to find also in week 5, you're going to now send me a revision of that plan. Again, if you would have laid out a good foundation in week 2, I will send you comments based on your draft plan, and now this is a revision of that plan. And so at this point, what you've actually done is you're just correcting some of the errors that I see or any comments that I felt like you need to make in that. And again, that's in week 5. And so that's just building from what you've already started in week 2. And then we move to week 8, the 8th assignment, and that's in week 6. And this is a spiritual paper. And again, why is it called spiritual? And it's a 2 to 3 page paper, and it's a reflection on your personal core values. What is God speaking to you? What is the Scriptures telling you? What are your texts telling you? What has your research shown you over this course? And so you're going to go through these. You're going to work through this. You're going to follow the instructions, a 2 to 3 page paper. Again, if you follow the rubric, you're going to be okay. Write in Turabian format. Make sure you engage the Scriptures. Make sure you engage also your course text, and you'll be great. And then we move on to the very last thing, which is the final draft or the final plan. You've already laid out a draft. You now have a revision. This is your 3rd draft of the paper. It is extensive at this point. It is engaged. Again, it is based biblically. It's based in your course text. It is also based in your own personal theology and your own personal development and philosophy of core values. It has a specific organizational context, whether it's your church, parachurch ministry, and then from that also it has implemented strategies in place, how you're going to communicate, cultivate, develop, and implement these various values in the church, and what kind of issues you may see as that happens. And so that's generally the course. It's a lot of work, it sounds like, and it really is. It's a very busy course. But it all has a general idea of trying to help you develop your own personal core values, because your responsibility as a church leader or a Christian leader in whatever organizational context you may have is to be able to engage people with your core values, to be able to develop a vision and a mission that properly addresses the goal that God has placed in your heart for that organization. And you do this through developing, communicating, and implementing core values. And so again, thank you so much for joining me for this short video on C Leader 303, value-based leadership, and I look forward to seeing you in Moodle. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me via the message application in Moodle. God bless you, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.